must be turning in their graves. China corners the market in Egyptian souvenirs. It's taken a year to get off the ground, but this week, telecom operator Du launched its services in the Emirates, ending 3 decades of monopoly in the sector. The UAE is the last major telecoms market to open up to competition. Other countries like Jordan have as many as 5 rival operators. But as Ollie Blofeld reports, these new telcos have so far failed to bring the cheap, high-speed services available to customers elsewhere in the world.
It's a familiar route followed by many governments. Open your telecoms market to competition with the promise of improving services and lowering prices. That's been the expectation of Du's customers in the Emirates as they've seen its giant masts going up across the country. Du claims it will lower average bills by between 8 and 10% because of its decision to charge by the second rather than Etisalat's policy of billing by the minute.
There is not a magic recipe or a magic stick that we will be using and making the difference. This differentiation is at the level of every component of the value chain, every phase of the journey of a customer, whether through our distribution network, where our customers can buy our products, find our product with more proximity, whether it is at the level of our product and services that we are offering, whether it is the level of pricing, and everybody knows that this is a very important component.
With the duopoly in existence in the UAE, consumers should not expect dramatic new offerings. Across the region, governments have been forced to open up their telco sectors, but they're slow to reform every area. Barring Egypt, every state still controls the internet, and they charge monopoly prices, which are on average 5 times higher than in the US or Europe.
Well, the prices here are significantly more expensive than what they are in other markets around the world, certainly the more mature markets. So price, first and foremost, is a significant driver in terms of driving people towards the market, getting them to be able to subscribe to your services as a telecommunications carrier. So that's the first thing. The second thing is product offering. We're not seeing the same breadth and depth of product offerings that we're seeing in the more mature markets here in the Middle East yet.
An international call to Europe or the United States will on average cost 10 times more than a call from Europe or the US to the Middle East. However, in Jordan, one of the most competitive markets, real competition has seen international call charges fall by 80%. But even it could do more. Jordanian company eStarter, which supplies software to the telco sector, would like to see the region's regulators allow voice over the internet to lower costs further.
One of the major costs of regional companies is the voice cost. And voice over IP is becoming a necessity, and it shall be, let's say, legalized soon. It will give a competitive edge for all companies that are working in the regions and attract more investments as well.
The future of telecom services is heavily geared towards broadband internet, delivering traditional voice calls over the internet as well as other media services such as video. 1 in every 2 households in the United States is connected to broadband. But in Bahrain, the most heavily penetrated market, it's only 1 in 30. And in Syria, 1 in only every 10,000.
Broadband penetration across the Middle East is very, very low relative to the population, and certainly relative to the other markets, the more mature telecommunications markets. The telcos need broadband as their platform. They need it to be able to offer a triple play of services where you can get a package of services from one telco, your internet, your TV, and also your fixed service at home. Without broadband actually penetration rates increasing, they're really going to struggle with this. And voice over IP, even though it's not a problem at the moment, when they do come to address it and regulate for it, broadband will be an inhibiting factor there as well.
The region's governments may have opened the telecom market to competition, but not surprisingly, they're keen to protect the remaining revenues they have in the sector. However, it appears inevitable that in time, if they wish to develop their economies further and remain competitive in the global marketplace, they will have to further loosen controls over the regulatory system and allow cheaper new technologies such as voice over internet.
Ollie Blofeld reporting. This week, news emerged from Saudi Arabia that the king will give up his power to appoint his successor. Instead, the heir will be appointed by a committee who will also be able to remove kings or crown princes who are unfit to rule. For Saudi Arabia, one of the last absolute monarchies in the world, this is a big change.